guys, welcome back. Today is day 2 of my 5 days of foundation, and today we are going to be testing out the PUR Cosmetics Bare It All 4-in-1 Skin Perfecting Foundation. I will have the foundation linked down below as always, as well as my first impressions foundation review playlist. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's review and that you are enjoying the new format. If you are, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below so I know. And if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications because I do have 3 more foundation reviews coming this week, and believe me, you are not going to want to miss out on them. I already primed my face with just a tiny little bit of the PUR No Filter Primer, and today I'm going to be mixing the shades Porcelain and Golden Medium. I looked at the shades and they didn't seem like they would have a shade that would match me perfectly right now, so I kind of chose the extremes of my skin tone, my most fair and my most tan, and I'm hoping I can meet somewhere in the middle and create a good match by mixing them. To apply this foundation today, I'm going to be doing half my face with the L'Oreal foundation sponge, and then for the other half, I'm actually going to be using this PUR Skin Perfecting Oval Foundation brush. This is my first time using one of these brushes, so I'm a little bit nervous. Wish me luck that it works out well, but let's go ahead and start the application. Oh, and I almost forgot, if you are new to my channel, my skin type is very oily and sensitive. The PUR Bare It All foundation retails for $39 and contains 45 ml of product, so an extra 15 ml compared to your standard foundation. It's available in 10 shades, and they say it will give you full coverage with a demi-matte finish. It's supposed to mask imperfections, pores, and fine lines, and last 12 hours without cracking, separating, or fading. It's formulated with ingredients like agave and green tea to keep your skin plump and hydrated. The texture of this foundation is really quite bizarre. It's very thick and it's got this kind of tacky, almost balmy kind of quality to it. Like when I was dabbing it on with the sponge, every time I would like go to lift the sponge off my face, I would feel it like sticking to it. Like it would have like a sticky kind of feeling. It was really weird. It did feel quite heavy on my skin as a result, which I didn't love. Like I could really feel it sitting on the surface of my skin. But I feel like that tacky feeling will kind of lend a hand in keeping this foundation on all day. That being said, because of this, I really did not like applying this foundation with this oval brush because you do have to kind of like swipe the product on when you're using these. I feel like I might like this with a regular liquid foundation with more of a normal consistency, but because of the texture of it, I found it so difficult to spread, and I ended up just feeling like I was just moving the foundation around and like uncovering redness, and it was getting very streaky. So as you saw in the application clips, after my first initial layer when I was using this on one side, I did go back in with the sponge and just kind of go over my face really quickly to even everything out because I feel like the coverage with this brush was definitely lacking. I did take the tiniest bit more product, but I didn't really build it up that much. Like I wouldn't consider going back over my face with the sponge again like a second layer by any means. It wasn't that much product. That actually sounded quite negative, but that aside, I actually do think this foundation looks quite good. I think the level of coverage is beautiful. It's definitely full coverage, and I would say it has more of a satin finish than a demi matte like they describe, but I prefer satin to a little bit more glowy, so I don't mind that at all. However, this foundation has begun to majorly settle into my pores very quickly. I will try to do close-ups here, but basically on my forehead, mostly the top of my forehead, around my nose and my lip area, you can see like distinct little dots where the foundation has sunk into my pores. And like I've only had this foundation on for like an hour at this point, so that's a little bizarre. Before that happened, it wasn't really drawing any attention to my pores, but I wouldn't say it masked my pores either like PUR describes. I don't have too much more to say about it, honestly. I did kind of like it a little bit better when I just had my base on before I started applying blush, bronzer, contour, everything like that. I feel like it looked a little bit better because I did go a little bit more bold with my makeup. I got a little bit overzealous with my bronzer and I applied kind of a more dramatic highlight than I would usually wear on a day-to-day basis, which, by the way, if you're ever curious what I have on, I always have like the main components of my makeup listed kind of towards the bottom of the description bar. But anyways, yeah, I would probably wear this foundation more on like lighter, more natural makeup days when I'd be applying more subtle cheek products and everything, even though it is full coverage, because that's just when I think it looked the best. Like I was definitely liking it more before I finished my face, which is usually not that common. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave this for now. I'm really interested to see how this foundation wears because they do have some very tall claims saying it won't crack, separate, or fade in 12 hours of wear, so we're definitely going to be putting that to the test. I will check in with you guys later on. I've been waiting as long as I possibly could to do a check-in because I've been looking at the foundation periodically and like really nothing has changed. Like there hasn't really been any signs of wear. Really weird, that whole situation with my pores seems to have gotten a little bit better. I don't know if it's just as my skin has gotten oily, which I am moderately oily at this point, if it just kind of like smoothed everything out a little bit. I don't really know. That was super weird. At this point, I'm pretty pleased with how the foundation is looking, but yeah, I just wanted to jump on here and do a quick check-in while we still have a bit of natural light, even though I really don't have too much to update on. That's gonna be it for now. I will talk to you guys again at the end of the day. It's now obviously the end of the day, and I gotta say, after a full 12 hours, I'm actually really liking this foundation. I'm filming these reviews this week out of order, so I've actually filmed like a couple of the other ones you'll be seeing later in the week, and honestly, out of all the ones I've tested so far, this has been one of my favorite looking foundations at the end of the day. I am quite oily. Like, I don't know if the camera fully does it justice, just how like shiny and oily my face is, but the foundation has held up remarkably well. Like, I am really impressed with the longevity of it. I feel like my cheek products did fade a little bit, but I was like lying down on my stomach and I like had my hands on my face and stuff, like leaning like this, and I feel like it really stayed intact and really stayed on. And even though I am really oily, it really hasn't separated that much. I have my typical like kind of settling into the creases of my nose that I always get. If you've watched my other first impressions, you have probably heard me mention that that happens to me with like everything, because that's just why I'm super oily. But yeah, like no real separation. I think the coverage is absolutely flawless and beautiful. Like it gave me that perfect one layer flawless coverage that I want. And I also like the finish a lot more than I was expecting, like from the description and everything. One thing too I forgot to mention in my earlier check-in was that the heaviness factor did go away after a little while. It's still not super lightweight or anything, but it doesn't have that thick like sitting on the surface of my skin kind of feel that it did have when I first applied it. To be honest, I think the consistency and the feel of it is definitely going to deduct points from this one for me. But I mean, I feel like that also kept the foundation on so incredibly well. Like I feel like this is a foundation I could like sleep with it on, which I never sleep in my makeup, but I feel like I could sleep with this on and wake up with it still looking really good. I am very impressed with this one, and I also like that PUR has a slightly more affordable price point for high-end foundations, and you also do get that extra 15 mil, so the value of this one is really great. I also do feel like this would work for a very wide variety of skin types. One thing is it does feel kind of like tacky, and like it is picking up on my fingers now after a full 12 hours of wear. So I definitely would apply like a blotting powder probably partway through the day, something like Benefit Professional Powder. That's my favorite powder for touch-ups, but yeah, I think a little bit of powder and this would honestly still look perfect. I'm giving this foundation a 7 out of 10. I would give it an 8 out of 10, which is like really high for me, being very picky with my foundations. The reason I'm deducting a point is for the thick texture of it, and also that weird pore situation that happened early in the day, but I really don't know what was up with that. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. I would definitely recommend checking out this foundation if you have had your eye on it, and what I have described in today's video sounds like something you would like. But give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at Sari Rihanna on all three, and hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here. But I will talk to you guys in tomorrow's video, which will be another foundation review. Bye guys.